Have you ever been in an argument where the more you explain, the worse it gets? You try to be clear. You choose your words carefully. You even stay calm. And yet, somehow, everything you say gets twisted. You say, "I didn't mean that." They respond, "That's exactly what you meant." You try again. You explain more. And in the end, they say, "This is all your fault." And the most painful part, it's not just that they don't understand you. It's that after everything you said, you begin to doubt yourself. If this feels familiar, then you are not in a normal conversation. And once you understand what you are actually in, everything will start to change. Imagine this. You are standing in a courtroom. You are the defendant. But something is off. The judge does not listen. The jury has already made up their mind, and every word you speak is not used to understand you. It is used to build a case against you. You present evidence. You explain your intentions. You try to clarify the truth. But no matter what you say, the outcome does not change because the trial was decided before you walked in. Now here is the uncomfortable truth. This is exactly what it feels like when you are dealing with a narcissistic dynamic. You think you are communicating, but you are actually defending your reality in a space where reality does not exist. So why do you keep trying? Why do you keep explaining even when it never works? Because you were taught something very deeply. If there is a misunderstanding, communication will fix it. And that is true when both people are trying to understand. But what if the other person is not using communication to understand you, but to control the narrative? Then every explanation you give becomes more material for them to reshape. And without realizing it, you get pulled deeper into the cycle. Explain, defend, clarify, repeat, and slowly you become exhausted. You are not tired because of one argument. You are tired because of the pattern. You explain the same thing again and again. You feel like you have to prove what is obvious. You feel like you have to defend your character, your intentions, your identity. And worst of all, the conversation does not stay in the moment. It follows you into your evening, into your silence, into your sleep. You replay everything. You think, "I should have said this. I should have stayed calmer. I should have explained it better." And at some point, you are no longer arguing with them. You are arguing with yourself. Here is the truth most people resist. Not every conversation is meant to reach understanding. Some conversations exist to maintain control. In that dynamic, truth is not the goal. Clarity is not the goal. Resolution is not the goal. Control is. That is why the more you explain, the less they change. The clearer you become, the more they resist. Not because you are wrong, but because you are playing a game where the goal is not truth. To understand this deeper, you have to understand one thing. Some people do not have a stable internal sense of self. They rely on external reactions to feel real. Your emotions, your frustration, your attempts to explain, all of it becomes input, energy, fuel. It does not matter if your reaction is calm or angry. As long as you react, the dynamic continues. That is why even your best explanations fail. Because explanation feeds the system. So what do you do instead? You stop trying to win the argument. You stop trying to be understood in that space. You stop trying to control how they see you. This is where Stoic philosophy becomes powerful. It teaches one simple distinction. There are things you control, and there are things you do not. Their perception of you is not yours to control. Their interpretation is not yours to control. Their narrative is not yours to control. And the more you try to control it, the more power you give away. Now, when people hear silence, they often misunderstand it. Silence is not weakness. Silence is not surrender. Silence is not the silent treatment. The silent treatment is reactive. It is emotional. It is meant to punish. Stoic silence is different. It is calm. It is intentional. It is grounded. It comes from understanding. My words have no value in this dynamic. And once you see that clearly, silence is no longer difficult. It becomes natural. So what does this look like in real life? Next time, they say something that provokes you. Instead of reacting emotionally, do this. Step 1. Pause. Let the moment breathe. Step 2. Respond briefly. Say something neutral. I understand that's how you see it. That may be your perspective. Step 3. Stop. Do not add more. Do not explain. Do not defend. And most importantly, do not re-enter the argument. Because the moment you explain again, you step back into the courtroom. When you change your behavior, the system reacts. They may escalate. They may accuse you more. They may say, "You've changed. You don't care anymore. You're avoiding the truth." And this is the hardest part, because your instinct will be to explain again, to fix the misunderstanding, to defend your intentions. But this is the test. Can you remain steady, even when you are misunderstood? There is a deep grief here, the grief of not being seen, the grief of being misrepresented, the grief of losing the hope that one day they will finally understand you. But something powerful happens. When you accept this, you stop needing their approval. You stop chasing their validation. You stop explaining your existence. Walking away does not always mean physically leaving. It means mentally disengaging. You are still present, but you are no longer participating. In the emotional game, you hear the words, but you do not absorb them. You see the accusations, but you do not carry them. And slowly, their words lose power. Imagine standing up in that courtroom. You don't argue. You don't defend. You don't explain. You simply gather your things and walk out. Behind you, the judge is still speaking. The jury is still whispering. The trial continues, but you are no longer there. How much of your life have you spent trying to be understood in places where understanding was never the goal? And if you no longer needed to win those arguments, who would you become?